It is another edition of the On the Mic podcast. And for the first time on the podcast, I'm super excited to talk to someone who is making waves early on in his UFC career. And we might have a little bit more in common to talk about than we would have a month ago before I moved to Missouri. So,
Oh,
uh,
you moved to Missouri? Oh, that's
yeah,
what's
the
up.
one and only Garrett Armfield joining the show. Garrett, welcome. Two-fight win streak. Congrats on the last win earlier this year against Brad Katona. How's life treating you?
Man, life's been treating me good. Mostly, honestly, because I can just like focus on this now, so it helps. I don't, I'm a bartender. I bartend in Kansas City, so I still bartend and stuff. But it's I call that my girlfriend money for one. So like, so I don't burn through my fight winnings. Is that like I have my girlfriend money from bartending. So that's what I do with that. And life's been good. Man, no complaints here.
Obviously we got connected through social media and you have your pinned tweet, talking about being on your parents' like just where you were a few years ago and now, you were getting ready for your debut in Las Vegas. Now reeling off two wins. Has it really set in yet that, you're doing everything you
Yeah.
set out to
So,
do?
dude, honestly, like I tell everybody this that like, my goal was to, and it sounds like looking back, it's like, damn, like I mean, at the time I had such a high goal, but it's like, I feel like I'm capable of so much more than what I thought I was previously, and I feel like anybody can, um, kind of like take that with them because like we are so much more capable than what we think because originally like first off I was like man getting the UFC would be so freaking hard and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to do and I got there and then it was like I was happy to be there and that's like not like the mindset you had because like my career could have ended and like yeah like I would have been fulfilled I feel more fulfilled now where I'm at but you know now looking back it's like uh maybe at first I didn't fully believe that I could have hung out in the UFC and performed like how I'm doing now. And I'm glad I've been able to like, cross that bridge and now it's like uh uh I'm just like happy to be here. I'm not, I know I'm like I'm trying I got my words mixed up, but like what I'm trying to say, I guess, long story short, is that I'm doing more than I thought I was gonna be able to do. And now I believe I can do anything. So
And that's the right mindset to have. And yeah, no, and I get what you're saying. I think it's the right
yeah,
mindset to have too, because you made a reference to girlfriend money. I think in a way, sometimes, not you specifically, but fighters or fans could look at a fighter being in the UFC as a relationship. It's easy to pick out someone to date. It's harder to keep that relationship and maintain that relationship and keep it going. So you could get to where you want to go, but how many fighters, I don't need to tell you, how many fighters get to where they want to go and then two fights later they're done or something happens or they're injured, then they're out for a few years and everything just changes in a matter of moments. So I like that, where your mindset is at and everything. But when you start off the year on a win, and obviously a win where everyone was, you're in Brad Katona's backyard and you came in there and you disrupted things and you were the underdog, you got to have the utmost confidence in yourself and where
yeah, for
this year
sure,
is
for
headed.
sure. Yeah. Honestly, like if I thought I was gonna beat him, it wasn't gonna be by decision. And so I proved myself again. I didn't think I was gonna be able to beat Brad Katona by decision. He decisions everybody. And again, it goes back to what you believe. And like I went out there and I did it. So it's like, wow, it's a big confidence booster. Um, you know, and yeah, I just man, now it's kind of like I think it kind of helps me in terms of like I'm much more confident in my coaching and fighting ability. Like I know what I'm talking about now, right? So it's like before, well, like now I just want to like help and give my knowledge to all these guys that I've been where they've been before. We all have. Everybody starts from their small show in Springfield, Missouri, and works their way up, right?
Not
So
too far from me. Not too far from me.
where are you at?
I'm in Joplin.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was in Springfield for a couple of years, but been to Joplin a couple of times. But I think the biggest difference since the win is that I just want to help others, like my teammates, get there because I saw how I performed and I performed well, and so now it's like, dude, I want my people, my friends, my teammates to compete at that same level. Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, but your stream froze. So I messaged you on Instagram or on Twitter. Yo, oh,
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, I
hey,
have
all
no
good.
idea. Yeah, my internet went out. So I'll
Because you're out in Joplin.
we were talking about, just your desire to get your teammates, to their next level and all of that. And I think that's so beautiful because you're really just getting started in your UFC career. So what was it, or was it getting a win and going back to the gym and evaluating yourself, or having these two wins in your bag and then looking at your teammates? What was it where you were like, all right, it's not just about me, it's also about my team as well?
Um, I think a lot of it had to do with like, um, I mean, for one, it's like there's that age old saying of like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, to go together. So I really believe in that. Because these guys are great guys and they help me get ready for my fights and they help me change my career. So I want to give back, help them change their careers and get to the next point where they want to be. 100% that. And then also, um, I just love martial arts and I love coaching, and Trey doesn't need any help whatsoever running that gym at all. And I don't have a coaching role whatsoever. Not saying that I'm not implying that I do it all. Because I don't. Um, but like I just feel like with like Miles, Mike Breeden, me, Trey, like we're all UFC guys. I feel like we all have our own little styles that we bring to the table. And I think if I can show somebody move left instead of right, I think that does help go a long way. Because personally, at Killcliff, I didn't get the attention from the head coaches. I got the attention from the assistant coaches, or like the guys that um weren't in charge of the bigger guys, and they helped me tremendous amount. So, and I know standing in their point of view, I'm sure they think I'm really cool now that I've won a couple UFC fights. So they probably like they listen, like they listen. So it's cool.
That's awesome. Well, we're gonna talk a little bit about Missouri here. One thing that I've quickly learned in being down here is it is a hotbed community for MMA. You would think, as I told you when we were getting reconnected here, that I came from Chicago. You would think big cities have all these opportunities for fighters, and
Yeah,
really, there's not many. There's a
there's
few, but
not.
there's not many.
Chicago's got like Ricardo Lamas's gym,
Yep, yep.
and
Everybody leaves. Everybody leaves.
like I think
And
Yair Rodriguez trains there. Yeah.
yeah, every once in a while he does, but like Curtis Blades left. Like there's so many people that
Oh
just
yeah,
leave
Curtis Blades from
Chicago. They
Chicago.
they they
Who's that
come
other
up
guy?
and then they leave. They go,
Bilal Muhammad.
yep, Bilal Muhammad is one of the very few who has stayed in
He also
Chicago.
goes up
But
to Roof Sport.
yes, yeah, that's the thing.
What I've heard
And
of. Yeah.
one thing I've learned here in Missouri is not only are there so many fighters from Missouri, but it's such a well-knit, close community. It's a hotbed community. I mean, I've mentioned MMA a few times down here, and I'm getting thrown names, from the regional circuit to all over. Names are getting thrown at me. So when it comes to just representing Missouri, coming back, and I know the gym's in Kansas and all that, but what does it mean to represent, where you're from here in Missouri?
Uh, First off, go check out Synergy FC fights. They hold them in Springfield at the Shrine Mosque. Dude, if you're I fought at the Shrine Mosque in 2018, and the venue was about 10% filled. Chris Greggy and Zach Cummings have built up Synergy FC to where that same entertainment center is sold out. So it's really cool to see. You should go check them out because it's like an actual league now. And what I've noticed from whenever I was a local fighter was that, like, for me, my amateur fights, I fought freaking the homeless dude down the street. Like, I fought bums because that's all there was in the area. Now it's developed, and a lot of that is thanked to which is now kind of defunct, is Glory MMA, which was Marathon. And they built that up, I feel like, and really built the fight community. But now again, you're seeing guys that like all these amateur fights are very competitive, and that it's an actual sports league now, and like getting those easy. Like I'm kind of fortunate, man. A couple of my first pro fights, I got to fight freaking bums. It's really hard to find that now. Seriously is. So being able to again, I did most of my pro career out of Missouri at in St. Louis for Shamrock, and to go and represent Missouri is really cool. And this is my point of view on building a fan base, which I'm trying to do. A bigger one is that what you'll see is the guys with the biggest fan bases come from small countries, right? Like Ireland, McGregor, blah blah blah, Ian Gary, like Spain with Ilya. Like they win, but they also come from small countries.
Yep.
So my kind of point of view is I should treat Missouri as my small country and just try to get everybody in Missouri on board. And that's like 5 million people right there. Right. So like that's kind of what I
I'm in, man. I'm all aboard that.
right?
Everyone in
I feel like
Missouri
that's
get
what we
aboard the
should do.
Garrett
Instead of
Armfield
trying to
train.
win the United
Yeah.
States, I should just win all of Kansas City and all of St. Louis over, and I'm good. That's all I feel like I need to do.
Well, the reason I asked about representing Missouri, because I don't know everything, but I try to lead question into question. It is rumored, and there will be that St. Louis card. Is that a target for you for your next fight?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Again, that goes back to like building my brand. And if I get to fight in St. Louis, that's huge. That helps out a lot because yeah, of course. It just I think it helps me out more than going and fighting in another country.
Which you've obviously done.
Which I've done. Well,
And
I've heard that you gain a lot of following if you go fight a foreign guy in their country, and I've done that twice now, and I didn't really get as big as a push from it, to be honest. But we're working
those
on it.
damn Canadians.
Those
Those
damn
damn
Canadians,
Canadians. But
man. They're the damn Canadians.
no, but in all seriousness though, if you are able to get a fight on that St. Louis card, which I believe is in May, would that be the moment where everything comes full circle for you, where you're like, holy shit, not only am I fighting where I started my career, but I'm doing so in the UFC in front of everyone in my home state, and you're climbing up the rankings as you're doing it now in the UFC.
Yes, it is. It's completely full circle. Um, yeah, yeah. When you put it that way, because like I remember being for my first amateur fight cutting weight in St. Louis. And so it'd just be insane to go back and be like, wow, I remember whenever I was just another amateur fighter. And that's the craziest thing, man. Anybody can do this in this sport, and can make it to the UFC. Anybody, man. I'm full proof. Like I think everybody's proof. Like nobody just gets to go, hey, welcome to the UFC. Um,
Right.
we all start at the smallest venues. Like it's crazy to think. And so it's a complete full circle, you know?
I've covered some regional shows in Chicago located inside a Harley Davidson store. So I know exactly what you're talking about to see, go from one level to another. It's really a beautiful thing. So obviously, like I said, question leading in a question. Is there a name you would like to fight if you get on the St. Louis card?
Yeah, Brady Heinstan. I feel like I match up very well against him, and he's won 2 fights in a row. And I think that'd be a perfect fight for me to take on in St. Louis, man, in front of everybody. I feel like I match up very well again. Excuse me, I match up very well against him. So Brady Heinstan.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah.
That would be a hell of a fight for sure. How does a win in January? This is a very weird question, but how does a win in January map out the rest of your year? Because obviously, some fighters they don't get their first fight until March or April, and if they're younger, like yourself, they're trying to squeeze in all these fights. So when you win in January, when you sit down with your team, when you look back yourself, how do you map out 2024 for yourself?
Well, I want to fight every 4.5 months, 4 to 5 months is what I'm cool with. Because it gives me enough time to have a month off where I can relax and enjoy, and then gives me a couple of weeks. It gives me a month to get in shape, and then it gets me in a 2 month camp. So I like to do the 4 months apart. Um, So, you know, May was already, I said I wanted to fight in either May or June. And as soon as I found out it would be St. Louis, I'm like, oh, that mapped it out real quick. Um, yeah, like that's the crazy thing about the sport. There's not a lot of planning. Like there's a lot of planning, but um, there's a lot of waiting. Just a lot
Yeah.
of waiting in this game. And the only thing that we can do while we wait is just train. So, um, to answer your question, there's really no planning for the rest of the year. It's just keep training. Honestly, that's what we
Yeah,
do.
day by day, just take it day by
Whenever,
day.
yeah, take it day by day. And when my manager Jason House says, "Hey, Garrett, you're fighting in a month," I say yes.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so not looking at 2024, but overall, and I've heard this answer, but obviously I'm a little selfish, so I wanted it, said on my podcast as well. What are the long-term goals for you? We know why some people get in this sport. We see very, very few create generational wealth, not only for themselves, but for the generation after them. That being like the likes of Conor McGregor. But what are the long-term goals for Garrett Armfield?
Yeah, man. Well, for one, my long-term goal is to be champion, obviously. And then two, my long-term goal is just to be able to provide for my family. And be able to turn money into money for, of course. I'm not looking for generational wealth like Conor McGregor. It'd be nice, but I don't need a yacht. All I need is like my white picket fence and 2.5 kids, right? So like, um, you know, long-term goals, I would be cool if I didn't get to the top 15 for another 2 years and kind of just like be able to build up my name against guys that aren't the cream of the crop at the top of the division. And you know, um, like long term, like after fighting, I want to own my own MMA gym. I want to do that. Miles Johns and I have talked about that, but I want to eventually open up my own MMA gym, and don't know where, either North Kansas City or St. Louis, but um, yeah, that those are my
That's
goals.
beautiful, man.
It'd be cool to have my own. I really want to open my own business too. Of course, it'd be cool to have like the whiskey brand that McGregor has. I would be really like that'd be cool as hell to have your own liquor. Like that's your thing that you
Yeah.
sell, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, and I love it. Where does this all come from? Because some people they'll have answers for one thing but not another, or they're only focused on one avenue. So where does your maturation come from? Because there's so much maturity and just really like everything you have is kind of thought out. I know you said, the fight game, there's not a lot of planning, but you seem to know how and where you want to go, not only inside the octagon, but outside of it. And it's beautiful because some people are
Yeah,
37
man.
and have no idea.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's because I have seen like I've seen like I've seen person A and person B at the end of their UFC careers, and I've seen person A with the plan and person B with the plan, and person B is still fighting because they have to, and person A is happy with what they've done, and now they've already had their own they uh turned it into another job that they do. Um like I know one guy, for example, one guy that actually, because I will actually call like guys like Ryan LaFleur, who I've met in person once or twice, but sorry about that. I've
No, you're
met
good.
Ryan LaFleur before, and I spoke to him on the phone, and I was like, "Hey, man, like, what do you do after fighting?" And he was like, "Well, I started buying up houses and renting them out to people, and then I opened up kava bars, and I have an MMA gym." And so I kind of want to be a renaissance man in that area. So I've taken my inspiration from just people I've talked to, like Michael Chandler. He's really good at his branding. Um, so I think the hardest part is just trying to like figure it out, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you sound like you've got a lot of it figured out. Michael Chandler, obviously another Missouri guy, a guy with his own tequila now.
Yeah,
Have
right.
you
So like,
had it?
yeah, it's crazy that he does a lot. He does a lot on the social media. He has his own app and all this stuff. Um, yeah, yeah, it's cool. It's interesting.
Well, I've got to ask before I let you go. Obviously we kind of have a time and an opponent and a date and a location. So, obviously just need that contract and hopefully
Yeah.
the right opponent. I would love to see you in St. Louis because I'm gonna try to get up there for that event. Don't see why I wouldn't be able to. But as a bartender, what are your favorite drinks to make and your least favorite drinks to make?
Okay. Honestly, one of my least favorite things to do is to pour beer. Because
You would
I'm
hate
like
me.
it's kind of boring. I'm like, and I do. I mean, it's a it's a pickleball place. Excuse me, can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
Yeah, yeah, it's a pickleball place I work at called Chicken and Pickle, and so it's
Okay.
mostly beer. Um, uh, I would say, or getting people water because the water gun is really slow, and so I'm
Yes.
like, and there's a water fountain right over there, like a soda fountain with water.
Yeah.
That favorite drinks to make. Um, I like to make, I think martinis are cool to make, and I can make a pretty cool shot. There's this one, it's called the Pink Starburst, and it's
Yes.
vanilla vodka and watermelon pucker, and oh, maybe it's triple sec, but it's great. So um yeah.
Have you so
Yeah.
are you a pickleball fan? Have you played? Do you play?
Yeah, actually I'm becoming more of a pickleball fan. Um I have played a couple times. I played like 3 times now, and it's are you do you play?
No, 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 no. You're one of the very few people who I've ever talked to who does actually play pickleball.
Yeah, it's becoming like really big Midwest thing because like there's nothing else to do here, as you probably picked up on. So like
Yes.
people are like, let's go play pickleball. Yeah, it's
I
good.
think a fun question for the
Right.
fans would be, how is it being a UFC fighter and a bartender? Obviously, being at a pickleball place, I don't think you're at like a regular sports bar, like where I used to watch UFC fights in Chicago, where fights would break out every other day. And then
Oh
if
yeah,
people
no,
found out,
no,
no, you're definitely not going through that.
I don't
But
want that.
what is
Yeah,
it like balancing, like you, most people go out, drink, and watch your sport, and now you're also doing that side of it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, like a lot of times people ask me about the wrestlings, like the cauliflower ear, and I just tell them I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm a fighter. And then most people will write it off. They'll just like, oh yeah, whatever, ignore it. And I'm just like, all right, cool, I don't want to talk about it anyways. But um,
I, that's awesome.
because like I don't really like so I'm like busy with work. Like I get a million questions because I have cauliflowers, but uh, it's like people, I don't know, it's just people are still surprised. I guess people are surprised that I have to do both. Um, yeah, I get a whole lot of reactions. Most of them are like people are real cool about it. I've had a lot of people that kind of like didn't believe me at all. And then I've only had probably a handful of people. There's always that one guy at the group that says, "Yeah, but do you think you could beat him?" And it's like the biggest guy in the group. It's like, "You think you could beat him up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, fuck yeah, I can."
Obviously, I do this for a living.
Yeah.
No, it's just funny for me. I love it because it's like you go from the most disciplined job in the world, being a professional MMA fighter inside the UFC, to a job where you got to be disciplined, but most of your clientele is undisciplined because everyone's just looking to
Yeah,
get,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I
That's
mean?
an interesting dynamic. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do steal a shot or two at work so I
I'm
can
not
deal with
telling
people.
nobody.
So I can deal with people. I'm gonna be honest with you. But hey, you wanna buy me a drink? All right, maybe I'll take one. Um, I try not to do that too often. Actually, the biggest difference, I used to love drinking, love alcohol, like not to a point where I'm doing it all the time, but I would
Right.
really look forward to it after a hard day of training. And ever since my last fight, I've had like no want to have a beer, which is not like me,
Interesting.
right?
Is it just something in like in your body, or is it just you're just like I'm
It,
good?
it doesn't sound appetizing. I don't know what it is.
More discipline, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome though. I was gonna say, good thing we're not closer to each other because I'm quite the drinker. So
Or you like to
I
drink? Yeah,
oh, I
what's your
love to drink.
yeah, drink is fun.
I honestly, so I hate to say this because I'm gonna sound like I have a problem, but I don't. That's what they all say, right? But I'm mainly a beer guy, and then I've drank all like the famous, the Connor whiskey. I've had Michael Chandler's tequila. Like I've done. holler head, the happy. Like I literally will not say no to most stuff. I'm a domestic beer guy though. I'm not like big on craft beer or
Oh
anything.
yeah, yeah. I
So
mean, unless it's like
yeah, like
if it's a stout, I can get down with a stout.
yeah, I can
Like
get down with a stout, but
Guinness, yes. IPAs, fuck no.
yeah, well that's weird for me because I've got a birthday coming up St. Patrick's Day and I don't know how Joplin celebrates. So
Oh yeah, I dude. If you want to go somewhere, go to Rolla. I swear to God, Rolla, Missouri. Apparently, they're known for their St. Patrick's Day party.
well, I'm gonna have to look into it. The missus wants to take me to Kansas for a casino night the night before since there's UFC the night before with Tai Tuivasa. I was like, all right, we'll see what happens. But
Oh, that'd be cool.
yeah, I definitely
Check
want
it
to check
out.
it
Which
out.
what North Kansas City, Kansas? Do you
Um,
even know?
no, I have no
Okay.
idea. She
Um,
started listing because she's originally from Kansas, so she
yeah.
started naming a bunch of places, and I was like, I don't care where we go.
Yeah, no,
But
Kansas, it's cool because Kansas, I didn't know this, but there's like the Kansas side and Missouri side. Um, and like I I always grew up in the Missouri side, so I always talk shit on the Kansas side, right? And it
yeah,
turns out, because I've just moved here like 9 months ago, is that Kansas side's really freaking nice and that the Missouri side's kind of shitty. And I'm like, oh
that's
fuck.
great. That's great to
Yeah.
find out now.
Yeah,
Uh,
right?
that's awesome. But no, man, I'll definitely get something written up on you. I think you deserve to fight in St. Louis, and I think St. Louis deserves to have you fight, in
Hell yeah,
front of
man.
them. I think you're
Well,
off
hope you can
to a
make it to
very
the
good.
fight too, bro.
Yeah, yeah. And then if something gets announced, you want to jump on and do an interview before your fight,
Yeah,
I'm
let's
more
do
than
that.
happy to do so as well. Great talking to you for the very first time. I'm really a big fan of not only you the fighter, but you the person. I think you're mature beyond your age, and
Thanks,
you
bro.
fight
Appreciate
like a seasoned veteran as well. So the future's bright for you for sure, and I'm
Thank you,
looking
man.
forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
where things go.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me on. Yeah, I like your what's the microphone? Because I have this little thing.
Literally just got it. I have no idea. So like I
It
said,
sounds good.
yeah, thank you. She moved me down here and then was like, I'm not gonna be on your ass about like a bartending or any type of retail job. If you do
Mhm.
interviews, do writing, and all this other stuff. And I was like,
Yeah,
all right. And then I just got surprised with a microphone, a ring light. I have a desk coming. I have a webcam that needs to get set up too. So it's like all in for me in 2024 now.
that's what's up, dude.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what's up,
So
man. Hell yeah, I
I
got
could
love the
definitely
one in your head.
find out and send you the microphone. It's got the arm and everything, but it literally that's why I was hoping when we scheduled this at 2 o'clock was good because the Amazon package was set to arrive between 11 and 2. And I was like,
Oh,
yo,
you literally
please.
just opened that
You're
up.
the first interview on this.
Hey, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
So
that's what's up. Well, yeah, send me that link or whatever it is for that
for sure, for
microphone.
sure. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
definitely do that for you. And then, hey, man, if I could ever get up there, I'd love to come to the gym. Leading
Yeah,
up
bro,
if you
come
need
hang
me
out. Yeah,
anything
of
before
course.
your fight.
Open
Or
door policy.
yeah, well, I appreciate you guys are doing a lot of great stuff, and you got a very bright future, like I keep saying. This
Thank
will be
you.
out on YouTube, and
Hell
I'll
yeah.
have a written piece up on you as well. Anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors or anything like that?
Yo, just shout out to Marathon MMA. And if you guys want to follow along, Armfield 135 on X, and then Garrett Armfield 135 on Instagram. And hopefully I'll be fighting May 11th in St. Louis. So stay tuned.
Let's blow it up, Garrett. Thank you so much for your time. I
Thank
really
you, man.
appreciate it.
Appreciate you. Yeah, have a good day, bro. Appreciate it,
You too.
Mike.